Yo, what is going on, everyone? Thank you for checking out the channel today. Today we are going to be going over the probably fastest rising rogue deck to come out of this current meta, and that is going to be Espathra EX. Now, real quick, before we do dive into the breakdown, I do want to go ahead and give a shout out to Cynthia at the Mint Mermaid on X/Twitter. This is their list that they used to go 744 at the most recent regionals. I just wanted to give them a congratulations, and I really liked their list, so I figured I would go ahead and cover it because I have been interested in Espathra, and this has been the best looking list that I have found so far. So yeah, just wanted to go ahead and give them a real quick shout out. And now into the deck breakdown. We are playing a 3/3 Espathra line. We are playing the Flittle with free retreat. Even though it does have 30 HP, that free retreat is very invaluable. And then Espathra EX is the star of the show. With that ability, Dazzling Gaze, it says as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks cost 1 colorless more. This is really good against things like Ancient Box, Moon to Dunsparce, and stuff like that. And then it does have the attack Psyball. For one Psychic, it does 30 plus 30 for each energy attached to both active Pokemon. This goes in tandem with its ability, forcing your opponent to attach more energies to get off their attacks, and then taking advantage of that extra energy by using it as damage. And then notably, this is a Terra type EX Pokemon. So even though Espathra is normally a Psychic Pokemon, it is actually a Grass type card, which means that we can hit Charizard EX for weakness. And that's kind of the main reason why Espathra is seeing kind of a rise in play right now, because it is very disruptive and it is, you know, kind of a good counter to some of the more popular decks that are seeing some play right now. And then as a supplemental support engine, we are choosing to play Xatu with it. Not only does Espathra take psychic energies, but the more energies on Espathra, the more damage you do. So Xatu is kind of a natural inclusion because it also lets us draw cards with that clairvoyant sense, which says that we can attach a basic energy to one of our bench Pokemon, draw 2 cards. And yeah, that's just a really good acceleration engine and a draw engine all in one. And then the last evolution line that we are playing as both support and kind of an offensive attacker in certain matchups is the 2/1/1 Banette split. So we're playing one Puppet Offering Banette because it effectively acts as a VS Seeker to let us reuse certain supporters in certain instances. And then we do have the Banette EX, which is mostly in here for that Everlasting Darkness. For one Psychic, it does 30 damage, and then you can item lock your opponent. This can be good at all stages of the game. Early game, this can prevent your opponent from using stuff like Rare Candies to get their Stage 2 Pokemon into play. And then late game, this can stop stuff like Qian Pao from grabbing back superior energy retrievals. So that item lock is very deadly in certain situations. And then Poltergeist can come through and actually pick up certain KOs against certain things. I actually had to use this to KO a Vulpix V-Star because this is actually the only attacker in the deck that doesn't have an ability. So keep that in mind. Poltergeist can do a lot of damage, especially if you've item locked for a couple turns. And then some kind of supplemental disruption engine cards that we are playing. This is the one change that I did make from Cynthia's list. She was choosing to play 2 Fluttermane. I have went with the 1/1 Klefki Fluttermane split that Guardy is playing right now. I really liked this split of disruption. I really like Klefki being able to be grabbed off of Poffin, and this does do more in certain matchups than the Fluttermane does. And I figured if we're already dedicating 2 spots to 2 Fluttermanes, why not play a 1/1 split? And then to round out the support Pokemon, we do have Mew EX in here. Mew EX is most famously known for its restart ability, which says if you have less than 3 cards in your hand, you may draw up until you have 3. But because of the Xatu engine, we actually can power up genome hacking, which lets us just use one of our opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. This is a really good response to Giratina V-Star. And so that is definitely something you want to keep in mind, that you definitely can use Lost Impact. in that matchup. And then we do have Manaphy with Wave Veil. We have a lot of little guys that will be sitting on the bench for quite a long time, so we really don't want to get sniped by Radiant Greninja, who is our last Pokemon. We do play a lot of energies in this deck, and to be able to turn them into draw power is really efficient, and it can really help us find those missing combo pieces from turn to turn. Now for the supporters, we are choosing to play 4 Iono, 3 Research, 2 Boss, 1 Tulip, and 1 Silene. The first 9 supporters are relatively standard. You don't really want to play 4 Research because with Xatu you are building up a large hand, so it is very likely you can end up accruing resources that you just don't want to get rid of. So that's why we're playing 4 Iono, 3 Research. 2 Boss is pretty standard. The 1 Tulip is kind of like a nice recovery card. It not only can get us back an attacker, but it gets us back energies. Oh, excuse me. Which combos really nicely with Xatu because, you know, we can grab back something like Espathra plus like 3 psychic energies, attach 1 for turn, and then use like 2 Xatus to attach the other 2 and draw 4. So this Tulip essentially got us an attacker with 3 energies on it and drew us 4 cards. And there's not a lot of cards in the format that can give us that much value. And then the last supporter is Silene. Silene is really good with Xatu because Silene says flip 2 coins. For each head you put a card from your discard on top of your deck. So if we do flip any amount of heads, then we get to stack a resource to the top of the deck, and then if we have a psychic energy, we can draw it with Clairvoyant Sense. So that's a really nice way to reuse stuff like Prime Catcher, Super Rod, you know, Pal Pad. You effectively can try and go semi-infinite with Silene Pal Pad, but it can be really nice to also reuse something like that Prime Catcher. And then we are also playing 2 Pokemon League Headquarters as further disruption. This is basically Espathra's ability, but it only applies to basic Pokemon. So the more energy that we can force our opponent to attach, the better, because then that's more damage that we will be doing with Espathra. And then for the consistency, we do have 4 Buddy Buddy Poffin, 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Nest Ball. Every basic in here except for Fluttermane, Mew, and Radiant Greninja can be grabbed off of Poffin. So this is a natural 4 of. And then for Ultra Ball, because we do have a lot of evolutions, and it goes in tandem with trying to pare our hand down for Mew EX. And then some extra basic search with a couple extra Nest Balls. Energy Retrieval is in here, as just ways to get more damage on Espathra, but Energy Retrieval, if you have 2 Xatus in play, is effectively a draw 4 card, plus 60 damage to an Espathra. So for an item, being able to draw 4 and do 60 more damage is insane value. And then we are playing 1 Super Rod for recovery, 1 Pal Pad for recovery, and then we do have 1 Rigid Band in here, which when put on Espathra means that you can actually survive a lost impact by 10 HP, which is pretty huge. And then against anything else, it can turn, you know, certain 2 shots into 3 shots, and it can turn 1 shots into 2 shots, which the more time you have with the Espathra, the better. And then as mentioned earlier, the ace spec of choice is Prime Catcher. And then to round out the deck, we are playing 11 Psychic Energies. This is a pretty high count, but much like the Bombardier deck, the more Psychic Energies you find from turn to turn, the more cards you get to draw and the more damage you get to do. So having more Psychic Energies is never a bad thing. But yeah, guys, that was the list. We're going to go ahead and run a game with this real quick. But before we do that, remember, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me a comment down below what your favorite terastallized EX Pokemon is. If you say Charizard, you are instantly banned from the channel. I'm a big fan of Espathra, however. There's also Garchomp. Garchomp I'm a huge fan of. Fortress, stuff like that. So, you know, dive deep into the tank and give me an answer that is not Charizard, please. Alrighty, guys, I'll see you in the gameplay. Alrighty guys, it does look like we found our opponent for the day. We're going to be running it with that Espathra deck that we just went over, hoping to get paired up against some Charizard so we can show you just how good of a matchup that Espathra should be against, you know, the most dominant deck in the meta right now. I can't believe Zard just won 3 events back to back to back, and then I believe got second at a 4th one. Absolutely insane. Our opponent is going to be flipping the coin. They chose heads. Hopefully we get to go first. And we don't. So okay, we are still going to go first. That means we're probably playing against Ancient Box. Ancient Box, Lost Box potentially. A future deck of some sort. I'm just trying to think of what other decks want to go second. Potentially Charizard, but not really. Lost Box, and we started Klefki. Awesome. However, we don't have a Flittle. I do have the Banette. So this is all we can really do this turn. I can evolve, attach, research, and then start item locking them. That may not even be better than just sitting with the Klefki in the active. The fact that we started Klefki against Lost Box is insane. They did open a Poffin as well, and they got double Comfey. So this is going to be where they want to find Bundle if they're playing it, which I know isn't super unlikely that they probably play it. It is pretty standard in like normal Lost Box. This could be Lost Tina, at which point it would probably not be in there, and it is Tina because they are playing the Temple of Sinnoh. So that means that they are probably not going to be resolving a bundle. So ideally they want to find a Tina plus a Jet energy so they can Abyss Seeking. This is really unfortunate for them that they got a triple Comfey start, but I started Klefki. This just really goes to show the value of playing something like Klefki while, you know, Lost Zone decks are in the format. Being able to shut down Comfeys like this is ridiculous. But this is also really good against like the future decks because it shuts off Iron Crown while it's on the bench, so that means that Miraidon can never one-shot Klefki. And as mentioned in the deck profile, time with Espathra is so good. So the more time that you can get, the better off you will be. Okay, so they didn't get the Jet energy, which is huge for... okay, but they did get a switch card. Okay, so now I'm probably going to do the Banette item lock, because they'll be at 4. If they Colress, they'll be at 6. And then the only way that they can get up to 7 would be manually attaching and retreating. There's part of me that almost wants to attach, retreat, and hold the boss in case they do retreat it, so that way we could potentially Poltergeist. I don't know if I want to be that passive. I mean, we do have access to Prime Catcher too, so I am gonna go ahead and do it. We did get the headquarters. We're gonna grab Xatu Flittle. Okay, the Prime Catcher is in the deck. 5, 6, 7, 8. Price 3 Psychic Energy. All the Poffins and Nest Balls. Did I have an Ultra Ball? Nope, I pressed an Ultra Ball. We have the other two Ionos. We played a Research Tulip. We played Boss. Little, the other Shuppet, the Espathra. I did not see how many Xatus we have. Yeah, we're just gonna go for the Everlasting Darkness. I don't know if I should have played the Headquarters. It does mean that he has to commit a second energy if he wants to go for Abyss Seeking. So now we're in an interesting spot. So we need to do 190 damage, which means that we have to do 200 because this is a multiple of 50. So we would need 4 trainers in their hand. I don't think it's super unlikely. 1, 2, 3, 4. There was exactly 4. Oh no, we only needed... Wait, how did... Am I bad at math? Oh, it does 60 times. I thought it was 50 times. I am bad at math. We still needed to hit 4. But there was exactly 4 in there. And... Can I... Oh, that's so huge. So they play Iron Hands in their Tina build, which is really weird. Their hand was relatively dead. I need to remember that they have a Roxanne. I'm probably just gonna Iono them. What prizes did I take? Ultra Ball Natsu. Okay, so that means 3 of our 4 prizes should be psychics. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there were 5, so maybe it's only 2 psychic. So the opponent does have 7 in the Lost Zone now, and they did have a Mirage Gate. And they did have a Tina V-Star. However, I am just going to go for the Iono. I could have Silened, maybe put Boss on top. They didn't play the Switch that was in their hand. Right? Yeah, they had a Switch, a Mirage Gate. So these 3 are still in the hand. Because the Nest Ball was used to grab the Greninja. Okay, there's the Mirage Gate. This ball gonna power up the Giratina. And the fact that they're playing this means that they're pretty confident. Or they're like doing the math with Poltergeist. So by playing the Mirage Gate, it means that are they just gonna come up and shred? Interesting. Oh, they can't actually shred because of the headquarters. So the headquarters, the headquarters actually did end up mattering. Because now they're gonna have to go for an Abyss Seeking, which is gonna make the Iono even better. Okay, we're gonna counter catcher up Natu, I'm assuming. No, we're just gonna put the Klefki in the active. Okay. We're gonna go for an Abyss Seeking. Okay. So now I know that they have the Roxanne. I know they have Roxanne V-Star. Okay, so we got an Espathra. I'm going to I'm gonna Ultra Ball away Poffin and Natu. Grab Xatu. And then I want to put the Manaphy down because of the Natu Klefki here. But if I can't move the clef key, then the mana fee is like a wasted spot. And if I find another Xatu, then I don't need it anymore. So I'm just going to leave the bench space open. Okay, so now I can either accelerate. It would need 4 for me to get the KO. They are still playing switch card. That's not really too common in Tina anymore. They're down 2 Chorus. I think I am going to go for the acceleration. Okay, we did hit another. And I am just going to go for a Poltergeist. It'll make getting the KO with a Espathra easier. I'm going to Poffin out the Flittle. Sure. I maybe should have got the other Banette, or the other Shuppet, in case of the Roxanne. So if they have 4, we get the KO. And they had exactly 4. Double Mirage Gate Forest Stone Catcher. So they can get a KO with Grit Ninja, I believe. One water, 2 water. Okay, so for them to get the KO with Greninja, they definitely need to hit a Super Rod, because they're down 7 energies. And then, oh, they drew a water. That's crazy that they got rid of that. Okay, so they have the Prime Catcher and double Mirage Gate. They get rid of a Tina V-Star, yeah, because they're probably never going to put another Tina down now. Which ultimately is very good for us. Because it means that, like, even if they KO the Flittle and the Xatu, you know, we can just go with, like, a Espathra and Banette. Because that is 2 V-Stars in the Lost Zone, and then 2 Vs in the discard. So that means they likely only have a 1-1 line. But given the fact that they are playing Lightning Energy and the Iron Hands that we saw earlier, I would not be surprised if they're only playing like a 2-2 line. So yeah, if they find a Super Rod, they can use... Okay, so they're playing like Lost Box with Tina, which is really weird. This isn't like standard, because you have to play a lot of energies. Like, as you can see, they're playing water. They're playing water, psychic, grass, and electric, which I guess isn't super out of the ordinary for Lost Box to do, to play like 4 different types of energies. Let's see, what can they do with Sableye? They can KO Klefki Xatu, and KO Xatu Flittle, have 40 left over. I don't agree with that. I don't know why we Super Rotted before we Coerced when we had double Mirage Gate. And now we had to get rid of 2 more energy. Playing 4, 8. That, yeah, I don't know why we did that. Hold on, what is their energy count? So we have what looks like probably 1 lightning, 2 lightning, 3 water. Okay, there's no psychic in here. 2 psychic, so 3 water, 2 psychic. Are we gonna bring up Xatu? Are we gonna KO Xatu? No, is this not something you're gonna KO? Because if it... Like, it feels like the Xatu is always part of the equation, or am I wrong? Holy man, 4, 7, 11. Okay, no, we're going after the Xatu. And then, yeah, 20 on the Flittle. That's probably not very relevant. So we do have the knockout with Espathra, which means that I can Ultra Ball, get rid of this and this. I'm gonna grab the other Espathra. We're going to attach Super Rod. I'm probably not gonna need another Xatu. Okay, so we can retreat, go into Espathra, play Poffin, not grab anything. Not hitting one of the Xatus is kind of tough. And then off the nest ball, we're going to grab the other Shuppet. And then we are going to go for Cyball. So as you can see, this league headquarters has actually been putting in a ton of work so far. And now we have a 4-1 lead on our opponent. We do have the Shuppet down, which can turn into the Puppet Offerings Banette if we get like Roxanne, so we can grab like a research. Oh, excuse me. So it's looking pretty good for us. Our opponent can't take 2 prizes with Sableye. 5, 11, 2, 2, 2, 12 energy. Playing 2 electric, 3 grass, 3 water, 2 jet, 2 psychic. Yeah, this is such a pile. So let's see, how do we lose? The benefit is everything has a 1 retreat. Okay, rather than how do we lose, how do they win? They still have 2 Mirage Gates, probably another counter catcher. There's the Roxanne we knew about. They still have Iron Hands, which I don't think will. I think if they use Iron Hands, that's a death sentence. They ideally would need to Greninja this turn, but to do that, they would need both of those Mirage Gates. They're playing 13 energy. Yeah, they're playing 13 energy so far. This is giving me vibes of like Tord's Lost Pile deck that he took to I think it was Utrecht, where he played the 1/1 Tina with the moon and the hands and the cram and the Sableye and everything. That's kind of what this is giving me vibes of, but they're choosing to play like a heavier Tina and Raikou, which I don't really know what the Raikou is meant to be. Did they just fail a Mirage Gate? I mean, I'm not surprised. They have 13 energy gone. Yeah, and then we got the dub. So yeah, as you can see, that really showed off the power of like everything. It really showed off the power of Banette. We definitely got kind of lucky with that second Poltergeist. But you know, just getting the turn 2 item lock, forcing them to Abyss Seeking, starting with the Clef Key, and then, you know, getting the Poltergeist KO for 2, and then into another Poltergeist KO for 2, and we knew that they had like a V-Star and a Roxanne in their previous hand, so the Iono was super valuable. Yeah, so the Banette came in super clutch there, and then, you know, the Espathra was starting to pick up steam in the late game, and it made it really hard for our opponent to like power up any attacker that wouldn't just get KO'd by Espathra. Yeah, guys, so that was the video today. Remember, if you do enjoy this kind of content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me that comment down below, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.